Hello, everybody. We're going to be working on the second part of the line assignment. The second part, part two. This is part one, right? And part one, we are, we're thinking about line. We're thinking about line quality, and the line quality is, line quality in this high relief piece is thick and thin. We have little thin ones. We have some somewhat, slightly bigger, mediums, thick. We have mediums. And we're also focusing on curves and rectilinear. So we have rectilinear lines, curvilinear lines, and we have a variety of thick and thin. And this causes variation. It gives it variety where it it's interesting to look at. It keeps you engaged. And that kind of curiosity and engagement is what you want to carry through on all your other designs in other disciplines. But for now, with design class, we're going to focus on small projects like this, and we're focusing on line. So this is line realized dimensionally, physically. Now we're going to realize this line project flat on a two-dimensional surface. And that is why I'm referring to it as the graphic interpretation. Now, the format is the same, right? When we did the part one, we needed to do 8 inches by 8 inches, and then the area of activity happens within a 4-inch by 4-inch. And we have a little window that goes on top, a little window frame. So here we have the same thing, 8-inch by 8-inch, and the activity will happen inside 4-inch by 4-inch. Now you have two ways of going about this. You can either do your piece on a separate 4-inch by 4-inch piece, like here you can see that I've already started some drawings in here for the demo. You could start it off as a 4-inch by 4-inch and work separately with your markers, and you can work on here. And then when you are done, you can take this and, of course, measure so that you can get it right in the center. So how would you do that? You need to make sure that you are 2 inches by 2 inches. So, when you glue it down, you got to make sure it's 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches up on top. You can also maybe try something like this where you measure the side here and you go down 2 inches and make a little light mark. Go up 2 inches and make a light mark. And then you can go this way and do the same thing. So in fact, let me go ahead and do that now so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up right here, and I am going to do just a very light pencil mark right there and right there, and then I'm going to count 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right there. Okay, and then I'm going to do this side. So I'm going to go ahead from the top down, and I'm going to count, or maybe I should start from right here. Right, I'm going to have 8 inches right there. I'm going to go 1, 2, so I'm right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm right here. So I'm going to erase this one because that was just, that piece. So I've made my mark, and I can see that I'm just going to register it right there. And here's the other mark right there. So later when I'm going to glue it down, I just need to put glue on here or the double-sided tape or the rubber cement, and I'm just going to go ahead and then adhere it to my paper right there, and then there you go. Again, the other way too is to go ahead and draw your square in here very lightly with pencil, and then do all of your activity in here. You just have to be very careful, very clean, because craftsmanship counts in this class, so all of this has to be very clean. That's why I think this option may be the easiest and the cleanest way to do this. Now, again, when I give you tips or suggestions, it's to make your life easier and painless, and to achieve a cleaner outcome. in terms of craftsmanship. Some of the marks that we're going to be working on today when we do our graphic, and I've have some samples for you guys to look at, or you can look up some samples online as well. And these are just textured samples. We have, like, cross hatching, hatching. There's stippling, which is dots. This is, again, more textured. There's patterning. We can work with pattern. We can work with some of these designs, not all of them. And again, more patterning that can be considered a form of texture. But this is all for the later part of our project. All right, now, let's talk about how we're going to get this onto here flat. One of the hardest things to do, but yet we can do it. But one of the hardest things to do in drawing is to translate something that is dimensional, physical, has touch, into something that is flat, illusionistic, two-dimensional. No sense of touch. So one of the ways that you can do this is to create a viewfinder, a window. And what you do is you get a piece of paper like this, fold it in half, and then you cut an actual rectangle, or you can say two perfect squares next to each other. And then once that happens, where you cut through here, and you open it up, you now have a square. From this square, what you are going to do, and if I hold it up to the camera here, you're going to see, you're going to find the best, most interesting square thing that you can depict. Because you're going to translate this. You're going to turn this into a drawing. You might like this. Or maybe as you turn it, and of course you can be looking at it lower, up above. This goes like this as well, and like this. For obvious reasons, I'm just doing this because of the camera. But let's see. I'm looking for something interesting. I'm looking for, and when I say something interesting, this is what it is. I'm looking for a view that has a nice variety of thick and thin lines in there, and mediums. Something that is not boring, but yet interesting. Another way of doing this, because this, you'd have to hold your hand like this and start drawing as you're holding it and observe. This is observational drawing. But you can also, instead of doing that, you can also do something a bit more modern. Now, it is true that if you do it this way live, you do get more interesting outcomes. It is more engaging, but in today's modern times, right, a lot of people ask me, can I use my phone to do this? And yes, you can. Now, my phone doesn't have the option to take a picture with it square. I've looked at portrait and what have you, and I can't get this to be a perfect square. But I know that other phone companies do have the option and the menus to be able to take a picture square. So right now, it's going to take a picture as a rectangle, right? And, I already took a picture, so I'm just going to show you. But let's suppose I took a picture, and now I'm going to edit my picture. So when I go to edit my picture, right, so let me see. This is my picture right here, right? You can see it. It's a rectangle, but I need it to be a square because my format is a square and my viewfinder is a square. So I'm using the camera as my viewfinder. So you could say I'm kind of cheating. But really, is it cheating when we're just using technology to help us? So let's see. When you click edit and you use the crop tool, a lot of times the crop tools in your phones or your pocket computers has a, let me go back, has a preset. And so here we have free range, original, square, 16 by 9, 4 by 3, 3 by 2, and so forth. Select square. Now that you have square, you see you can move your picture around. You can, zoom in, find out what's interesting, what do I like. This is too boring. You have like a big square piece up here, a trapezoidal piece. So you need to keep moving around and trying to see what you can find that may be interesting. Um, Sometimes people select something that is what they feel is really simple. Now, if you select something that is too simple, you're actually making it harder for yourself. Because then, how do you make something that's really simple and boring exciting? That's more work on you. So, I kind of selected this little area like this. And of course, once I've done that and I save it and I crop it, uh, let me show you the image that I finally selected, which was this image. This is my cropped image. After that has been done, you're going to come in here and you're going to go ahead and begin drawing. It's probably a little hard for you guys to see what I've drawn here, but it's more or less, I want you guys to be able to go ahead and really, just lightly sketch what you can, and try to be like, I don't know, 60 or 70% accurate to what is in the photo. You don't need to make it exactly the same, but you got to be close. You got to try your best. And it's not meant to be perfect, but it is meant to be very close because you're using this as a form of inspiration for here. And you're also translating from here to here. Once that's done, and you do it lightly with pencil, okay? Once that's done, you do it lightly with pencil, you may then come in here and just slightly erase. If you have that kneaded eraser, this is where it comes in handy. And you just want to be light about it and slightly erase, not too much.